Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. I'm Esther.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we're joined by Sacha Liddiard of Think Outside the Bot. And Sacha's here to talk to us about chatbots. Welcome, Sacha.
Hi there. How are you doing, both of you, Esther and Melanie? It's great to see you. And thank you for inviting me.
Great to have you with us, Sacha. So, chatbots, what are they? What are chatbots?
Well, they mean a lot of different things to different people, but basically it's just an automation and to have a conversation, really. Chatbot is just all it is just having a bit of an automation attached to anything. So you can have it attached to a website, or you can have it attached to Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, any way you
like. So is this AI? Is it, bots are taking over?
Yeah, I mean, you can have it as artificial intelligence if you want to get a little bit more complicated. But for most people, they just want something that's just straight out of the box, something really simple and easy to set up. And so it just depends, what type of business you've got, whether you've got an e-commerce business, whether you're marketing, and the type of bot that you want. But yeah, we do artificial intelligence, but much further down the line. It's not something I would recommend somebody starting out with right at the beginning when they're just discovering chatbots. So but probably the ones that most publics will know is when you sort of go onto a website for your favorite store and you ask a question and you get an automated reply. That is a chatbot.
I wanted to ask, actually, just quickly, you're in the field of marketing like us, but what made you pick chatbots in particular? Why did you niche?
Right. Well, originally I started using chatbots for a business I had. I used to have an e-commerce business back in 2017. And I was also coaching people on how to set up an e-commerce business. So I was using chatbots to get people into my coaching program. And I just loved it. I get quite addicted. I was addicted then in 2017, and what with 2021 now, I still get excited when I see a message coming through. It just still gives me that buzz. But I wanted to continue coaching and teaching, because that's something I've always been in the outside, in the corporate world. I've always been a coach. So I wanted to find something in the marketing space that I could teach other people to do. And I needed to niche down. And I thought, there's hardly anybody out there, this was quite a while ago, anybody out there teaching this stuff or doing it for anybody. So I thought, right, I will niche down just on chatbots. I'm not going to be doing marketing as a whole. Just let's do chatbots. And I will learn as much as I can learn, but just as long enough to always be that one step ahead of somebody else, so that whoever I'm coaching or training, I'm one step ahead all the time. And I've just learned continuously since that time. So that's so really it started from the training, and then the agency got taken over from after the training. So a lot of people were doing the training, thought, do you know what, Sacha, this is great, but can you do it for me? And that's how the agency started, really. So I haven't actually gone back to the coaching and training. It's mainly the agency now.
Wow.
And do people need to understand code to be able to set up a chatbot?
Well, I'll let you into a secret. I don't know anything about code at all. So I'm not that techie as far as you don't, because we've got the fantastic platforms like ManyChat, and ManyChat's the one that I use. And it's all, the coding and everything is all really done for you already. So I don't need that. I've learned a lot along the way, and I now can do more with coding, but I'm not a coder. I've never built a website before. I'm not super techie. It's just I can learn and teach people how to have a conversation, and I know how to format that all up. And that is my marketing background. It's really helped me, because it's understanding that when you're using chatbots, you want to have a conversation. You don't want to be the one that's telling. The chatbot isn't the one that's telling and selling. You're actually wanting to find out from the customer what they need so that you can then respond. So yeah, it's all about having a conversation.
Okay, so one telling thing that you said just there is that there you don't need to know code, but there are things that are sort of like pre-prepared, like a template, like there are template websites. So there
Yeah.
are template tools that can help you set this up as well. So is there kind of levels that you can have when you're creating bots for your business?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Right from the beginning, without even using ManyChat, the most basic is that Facebook Messenger has got your very simple automation already set there. So if you didn't want to go down, down the ManyChat route and a bit more advanced, do it within Facebook. If you're on LinkedIn and even email now, you get these automated responses that can be used. Instagram, not so much. I'm going to talk to you about Instagram in a minute. But so that automation is already there. And then you can come into something like ManyChat. And if you want to do everything for yourself, there are templates sitting there ready to be used. That can be used by anybody. You can just install it and there'll be simple instructions teaching you how to do it.
Brilliant. And so you mentioned, Facebook has a chat bot, LinkedIn, you can automate things, email automations. So where's the best place to put a chatbot?
Okay, so with Messenger, you've got it on your Facebook page. Okay, but you can have links to any flows within the bot. So when I say a flow, it could be that we may be running a challenge, or we might be directing people to a podcast. Those are two different
idea,
flows.
isn't it?
Yeah. We could be sending anybody to a live show on Facebook. So though you've got the bot sitting on your page, so people can come in when they click on send message, we can provide links for all of those flows. So those links can go in an email, they can go anywhere you can put a link, you can bring people into your chatbot. So it doesn't really, it sits there because it's part of Messenger, but you bring people in from all different directions. You can bring them in from a QR code to whichever flow you want to bring them to. So simply, if you're just using the chatbot to make appointments, send them to your Calendly link, you would just give out the link to bring them into the Messenger bot. But people can have it sitting on their website as well. So, you can see a little chat bubble on people's websites, and they click on that, and that will bring them into whatever bot flow you want to bring them into. So again, if you had on your website the question saying, do you want to subscribe to our podcast? I'm bringing the podcast back. Then they could click on that and go straight into the flow that would get them to subscribe and send them the latest episode. So that's another place to bring people in from.
The minute you said that little speech bubble, it made me immediately think of Ulster Bank and Cora.
Okay.
And it's not
For
the
those
best
who don't know what
experience.
Ulster Bank is, it's a local bank here in Ireland.
Oh, right. And is Cora the avatar?
Yeah.
Cora is the AI. Yeah.
And
Right.
And she's lovely, but by golly, is the conversation dull.
Well, there you go. You see, it's having these conversations with using images and GIFs and emojis and making sure you're not replicating an email. This is what I see people doing, replicating an email into a conversation. That's not what you want to do. You want to keep it short, sharp, interesting, fun. So yeah, if she's dull, then
she needs a personality transplant.
She needs a bit of a personality. Yeah, absolutely. So
well, I mean, it's a bank. What can we expect?
Yeah. But it's important, just as a bank is just as important. It's customer service no matter where you go. The conversation's got to be good. And conversational marketing is an art in itself. And a lot of people that build chatbots just build it to say deliver a lead magnet or send you a link to register for a webinar or something like that. Chatbots are so underused as far as having that conversation, getting to know, getting to understand, asking questions, and then segmenting people out based on the answers that they get to those questions, being intelligent.
So I gave you an example of what may not be considered, in my opinion, the best example of a chatbot. But do you have any good examples that people can look at and consider how they work?
Yeah, I mean, I do actually. Well, at the moment, which is quite exciting, is I mentioned Instagram earlier, and chatbots are now coming to Instagram, and we've got so much we can do on Instagram that we can't
She looks so
necessarily do on
excited,
Messenger.
doesn't she?
I'm so excited. And I've been really lucky that one of my clients was chosen by Facebook for the beta testing for. Do I say
Wow.
beta or beta? Depends on US. I can say
Tomato,
beta.
tomato, we don't care.
One of my clients was chosen by Facebook because she's got an enormous amount of followers on Instagram, and also teaches and coaches Instagram. So we've been using the chatbot in the last sort of 3 to 4 weeks or so, and it's Janet Murray. So if you want to go and have a look at Janet Murray, interact with the bot from her Instagram, then you can do so. But it's that's marketing. I mean, Janet is marketing. She's marketing her courses to do to learn about Instagram, and she has a great PDF to learn how to do reels. So when people DM her on Instagram, when people reply to a story, if people mention the page in a story, they will come into the bot, and she can then send them the Reels PDF. So, yeah, exciting stuff in Instagram. You can even have it actually on Instagram when people comment now on the post, on the Instagram post, or in a video. They will also that will also trigger the bot. So a lot of things we've been doing on Messenger can be done on Instagram, but just a little less rigid is what I would say. So yeah, that's a good one to go and have a look at.
Okay, so like, should the chatbot then sound more like the person themselves, or should it be obvious that, you're talking to a robot, it's out of hours, it's, obviously not a human talking? How far one way or the other should the bot
Well, there
swing?
are actually laws on this, would you believe? Not over here in the UK, but in the States. Is it California? Is it California where they have all these different laws? You
Probably, yeah.
can't.
Most likely.
It has to be really clear that that it's not a human being. All right. But people aren't stupid. um, what was her name from the Ulster Bank?
Cora.
Cora.
She's not real, is she?
No.
You should know that right from the beginning. Now, some people go way over the top and make their bot some wonderful character, which can be quite tricky depending on how many different things you're doing with the bot for this character to still keep appearing. And and sometimes it just might not fit the brand. So you need to know, the brand voice still needs to come through. And sometimes it's the person from that company that is the brand, is the person. I don't want to speak to necessarily Cora from XYZ. I want to speak to Esther, and I want it to be Esther, even though I know it's not really Esther, but it's Esther's voice. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's very clear. It's very clear from the outset that it's not a bot. Sorry, that it is a bot and it's not really Esther, and that if anything that somebody wants to chat to a human being, it's really easy at any stage that they can come into live chat and start talking to a human being. And that's really important, actually. You give them the opportunity, one, to get out right from the beginning. Make it really clear how they just have to type the word stop and they're out, and make it really clear that there's a live chat button and they can come into live chat and talk to a human being right from the beginning.
See, Melanie, she doesn't want to talk to you.
Sorry, Melanie.
Fine.
So those are a few of the rules and regulations. So you have to allow them a way out. You have to allow them a way to join a live chat. What other rules and regulations? Because I mean, our regular listeners to the show know how much Melanie loves things like GDPR and cookies and all the rules and regulations that we have to follow. How much of that does the chatbot have to follow? And as a sub question to that, how has the iOS 14 update affected a chatbot?
Okay, well, let's just start with the rules and regulations. There's since I started in 2017, I can't tell you how many changes there have been regarding rules and regulations. We had in just before Christmas, and it was just a dreadful time, is that Facebook decided to take absolutely everything away from us here in the EU, as far as our bot creation was concerned. We had always EU restrictions, and we could do nothing. It lasted about a week where we thought we could do nothing. In that time, we had to change everybody's chatbot. And at the end of the week, I wish we'd never changed anything, because we were gradually, all these things that they took away from us have virtually all come back now. But one of the biggest rules that everybody needs to stick to on Messenger is and Instagram is the 24-hour rule. You cannot send out a broadcast like an email, similar, what a broadcast is. When I say broadcast, it means it's one message to many. That's a broadcast. You cannot send out unless they've interacted within the last 24 hours. So we're always conscious about opening up that 24-hour window. And if there's been an interaction, you can send whatever you want to send. That doesn't mean you should do, the old thing of, yes, just because you can, you should. No. You can, but with caution. But we're always opening up that email, that 24-hour window. And within ManyChat, we can use SMS, we can use email, so we can always re-engage them using those things as well. And then you re-engage them, say on a post or whatever, within Instagram, within Facebook, that will bring them back in. Keep opening up that 24-hour window. There are certain conditions where you can send a message outside of 24-hour window, and that has to have a special developer tag attached to it. Sorry, I'm getting techie, but again, that's super simple within ManyChat. It's easy to do, but it means you can send out something like an event update. So if somebody is registered for your event and it's in 2 weeks' time and they've registered for it and we want to send them an update, we can do that. If you've got an e-commerce business and you want to send an order receipt or something, absolutely post-purchase tag can be used. All right, but anything else, if in doubt, stay within that 24-hour window and you'll be fine.
Do you know, I'm beginning to see why people get you to do this.
Sorry.
Me too.
Sorry, it's overcomplicated. But the rules and regulations are really important, and people fall foul. But Facebook, they tend to give you a warning. They do give you a warning, and they say, right, we're shutting you down for the next 3 days. What people are stupid is they carry on regardless. Keep going. I've been given that warning. Facebook doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm just going to keep going. They get a 7-day warning. They ignore it. Keep going. It's not as if they shut you down immediately, but they do send you a warning. So that's when you just need to take heed.
So, Sacha, how, obviously marketing is an umbrella term, okay? And what you're doing is an element of a larger, broader vision that every business has to do.
Yeah.
Because most of the people who are listening to our podcast would be smaller businesses, sole traders, or maybe the 2 or 3 people in the team.
Yeah.
How much sort of time would they need to commit to this, setting up a chatbot? Once it's set up, how much time and effort would need to be put into it afterwards? Just as a ballpark. I know it's very different.
It depends what you're using the bot for. Now, for any business, any small business, whether it is brick and mortar, whether it is a small marketing business, every business has some form of lead magnet in order to bring people in. And do you not, right? Okay. Most do. To build that email list, because if you don't build an audience and you don't build your leads, you've got nothing to sell to. So most people do that. Okay. And what if you can have the simplest of funnels of where somebody clicks on a link, they come in, you send them a message saying, do you want this XYZ lead magnet? Yes, I do. Okay, we're going to get your email address. Now this is GDPR.
Yeah.
We're going to get you to click on the button that says, I agree to you sending me this email, and we may occasionally send you XYZ. Okay, get that set up. We then deliver the email with the lead magnet from ManyChat, so all in the same flow. They send the email with the lead magnet in, and 24 hours later, the messenger can follow up to say, I can see you've opened the email. This is the next step.
Stalkery? Really?
I know, or it can just say,
I can see you've opened an email.
We can see you've opened the email.
Oh
it could be you've not. So do go and check your spam folder, your trash folder, and let us know, and we can help you. So think of all those emails that people send out with lead magnets, and people never get them. They never get them.
True.
Or they forget they've even asked for them. At least with this, you've got the follow-up, and it could be, I did one last night for a live show for an e-commerce client selling, it was menopause, right? It was selling supplements, but it wasn't about selling supplements. It was about talking about questions that people had about menopause. Right. And it's, I don't know if you watch the Davina program. You guys are nowhere near. Anyway, I was really interested. So she had them on for about an hour. But anybody that commenting was going into this funnel to get her menopause fact sheet. Yeah. Okay. And that was then delivered by an email. And as soon as people clicked on the email, it would say, I see you've seen the email. What did you think? Would you like to see the products that will help you?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what it does. So how long does that take? It doesn't take long to set up. How long does it take? It's to monitor. If people go outside the flow, give you the wrong email address, it might take you a bit of tweaking. Not.
Wow. Okay. So you mentioned.
I'm going to say I probably spoke for longer than this.
So you've mentioned ManyChat, and you've mentioned a few other, like that there are other services, including Facebook's own chatbot installed there.
Yeah.
So what other, are the chatbots free, or how much would it cost to run a chatbot?
Yeah, if you want something really, really basic, the basic free platform on ManyChat, to just get yourself a bit of a feel. Obviously, Facebook's free, but ManyChat has a free element to it. And then once you get over a certain amount of followers, or you want to start using the more complicated stuff, conditions, tags, that sort of thing, segmenting, then you will need to pay. But it's really cheap. It's $10 a month. It's nothing, really.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like it's going to cost a fortune. Doesn't sound like it's going to take a huge amount of time. You can show people how to do it as well as manage it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this really is something that most people you don't even have to have an e-commerce website, do you? You don't have to have an e-commerce website. It's probably handier if you had one, but you don't have to have an e-commerce website to have chatbots.
No.
And
you don't even need a website.
You don't even you just use Facebook, or Facebook and Instagram shop.
Or emails.
Or emails, yeah, that's even better. Mm-hmm. So there's a lots of maneuverability for these particular tools. So where do we learn more about what you do, and where can we find your website, Sacha?
ThinkOutsideTheBot.co.uk is my website. If you Google Think Outside the Bot, you will find me mostly everywhere. I hang out obviously on Facebook is my main thing, because that's where I do most of my chatbots. So, but Think Outside the Bot, you will find me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sacha, for joining us today. And yes, if anybody has any questions about chatbots or how they can get started, do reach out to Sacha and let us know. And I'm sure after this episode, Melanie and I will have set up something on our website so that you can subscribe to the latest podcast episode. Thanks, Sacha. You've given
Melanie
all these ideas. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with more Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Until then, have a good one.
Bye.